Can you explain what ADHD is?
I don't know too much about the topic, but I do know that it is a neurological disorder.
People's attention, being able to focus on things. This is all stuff that I'm learning on the go, only being new to teaching.
Medication's horrible. That's my personal gripe with it.
Isn't it when people like struggle keeping focus in that?
Could you describe what ADHD is?
Yeah, ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. So it is a neurodevelopmental disorder. So that means that people are actually born with it. And it's different types of changes in the brain that kind of cause it. So there's 3 different types of ADHD. The first is ADHD hyperactivity prominent. So you might see like traits such as the typical doesn't stop talking, might interrupt sentences, quite fidgety all the time. There's also ADHD inattentive, so that's prominent with the attention, so little things can distract them. That could be external noises or even internal thoughts, and quite often they might find that they mind wander and not realise that they've mind wandered for quite a long period of time sometimes. And the third type is a combined, so it's when the hyperactivity and the inattentive are both equally prominent.
My name is Kian Lang. I'm 17 and have had ADHD for 5 years. I've had different experiences with my ADHD and would like to share my story.
What is life like with ADHD?
It's less of a life and more of an existence, I'd say, because you experience things a lot different to other people.
How old were you when you got diagnosed?
I believe I was 12 in year 7.
How does ADHD affect your education?
I get distracted very easily and can often act on like sudden impulses, doing foolish things like putting a bag over my head.
What other conditions occur with ADHD?
So because it's a neurodevelopmental disorder, other neurodevelopmental disorders can co-occur. So we're looking at autism and Tourette's are also neurodevelopmental disorders, but there's also sensory processing that can be linked with it. Things like ODD is quite common, which is oppositional defiance disorder. Mental health, like anxiety and low mood depression can also co-occur with ADHD, as well as like sleep disorders and other learning disorders.
What types of therapy will help?
Again, it depends on the individual, it depends on their personality, it depends on the type of ADHD that they have, and it's a kind of a trial and error basis. One of the best things that research is saying at the moment is mindfulness meditation is actually really good for helping that person to concentrate and focus for longer periods of time, and also helps them relax to go to bed.
Do you know how ADHD is treated?
Medication and therapy.
What is the treatment like for ADHD?
Mainly just consists of me taking pills on a regular basis to dull down how hyperactive I am.
What's the best treatment for ADHD?
So if you're looking at treatment as a cure, I'm sorry, there isn't one. It's changes in the brain, but you can have treatments that can maybe compensate for the behaviours, or that can help attention, or that can reduce like the hyperactivity and the other traits that come along with ADHD. But as far as a treatment as a cure, there isn't one, I'm afraid.
What are the possible side effects of different ADHD medicines?
Okay, so methylphenidate is the most common used medication, which is a methamphetamine. It's a stimulant and it increases the brain activity so that individuals can help control their attention and their behaviour. And there's dexamethasone, which helps direct the focus of energy appropriately. But both of them are stimulants, and they can come with quite severe side effects sometimes. So that can be like high blood pressure and heart rate, reduced appetite, headaches, and more serious like liver damage and even suicide.
Are there any supplements you should avoid if you have ADHD?
So I think this is more on an individual basis. It depends on what type of ADHD you have. So hyperactivity and inattentive kind of tend to be opposite ends of the spectrum for each other. I know that sort of omega-3, zinc, iron, magnesium and melatonin to help ADHDers sleep can all be really beneficial. Caffeine, there tends to be a lot of debate in the research whether actually that stimulant is really productive for ADHDers or actually really bad for them. But I think it depends on the individual really.
What was it like growing up with ADHD?
It was hell because I went through all of schooling without any help and people judging me without knowing what was wrong or why I was acting different to others.
Do you know anyone else with ADHD?
I know 2 other people with it.
Quite a few.
Outside of work, do you know anyone with ADHD?
Yeah, actually my daughter, she's 13, she was diagnosed with ADHD inattentive when she was 10. So, and I've also got some friends who've got children with ADHD as well.
How many people do you help regularly with ADHD?
Obviously my daughter on a regular 24-hour basis, but I also support students with autism that also have co-occurring ADHD diagnosis as well. So quite a lot.
Do you find it harder to work with others?
If I know the person, I wouldn't say no. I find it easier if I know them. If I don't, then yeah.
Teaching Kian is no different to teaching any of our learners here at the college. Obviously, we always establish any needs or any learning difficulties that any of our students might have from induction, and so we're able to support that here. Kian's very independent in the way that he works. And he knows that support's available, and sometimes he'll want to access that and sometimes he won't. He engages in all of the lessons. He's happy to speak up in kind of question and answer sessions within class. Sometimes focus can be a bit of an issue, and we're working on kind of techniques in order for Kian to keep his focus and maintain his focus in class. But no, he's a really vibrant character and a real pleasure to have in the classroom.
Do you have any advice for people with ADHD?
I think the best bit of advice is there's a lot of negative attention on the traits and the behaviours of ADHD, and I think by turning that around and making that ADHD work for you, looking at, okay, the impulsivity can be really negatively looked at, but actually if you put that in a positive spin, it's a lot better for your mental health as well. There's a lot of research out there that suggests that people with ADHD make the best entrepreneurs because they're not scared to take risks. They have that one interest and they become masters of that interest. There's unlimited energy, you know, so it's just trying to fit your lifestyle to make your ADHD work for you.